If you think of two people you know, no matter who they are, you don't get them mixed up psychologically. Everybody seems different than everybody else. And so you have to, in a complete psychology of a person, come up with a study of individual differences, a systematic universal statement, and also capture the idiosyncrasy of the individual.
What psychologists who study personality traits have sought to do is to use certain terms to describe the differences in behavior between individuals. And in doing so, they have given us the trait approach to personality.
Are there fundamental underlying dimensions? The search for that has been keeping us going for quite a while, for 2,500 years.
In psychology, the word trait took on a certain meaning, in particular in U.S. psychology through the work of Gordon Allport, originally in the 1930s, who reasoned that there are certain consistencies in a person's style of behavior. Those consistencies may reflect some sort of inner psychological quality, and those consistencies then are the person's trait. So Allport and Odbert created the problem that there's thousands of these trait words, and you want to simplify them. About as simple as you can get is a model by the British psychologist Hans Eysenck, who suggested that in normal everyday personality, two primary variations in extroversion and neuroticism are a kind of a map. Every individual could be described as being somewhere along dimensions of extroversion and neuroticism.
Those two broad brush dimensions seem to work quite well in describing how people differ.
So most people realize that, useful as they were, the two dimensions of Eysenck missed some things. So the suggestion from many psychologists today is that a model with 5 of these individual differences does a good job of describing main individual differences.
If I want to understand what you're going to do, I need to understand what you want to do, how able you are to do things, and your stability in reacting to the situations. So I need to understand all of those, the big 5.
In the 5-factor model, we are presented with supercategories of human personality: conscientiousness, agreeableness, neuroticism, openness to experience, and extroversion. Use the acronym CANOE to help you remember them. The Big 5 model is helpful in placing individual characteristics on spectra that we can apply to large populations of humans. When you are more of one thing, it does not necessarily mean you are less of another. Each person moves through the world with a unique brew of these traits. More than any other, the Big 5 model seems to best capture personality. Some studies have shown that these descriptions show up across a wide range of participants, including those of different ages, nations, and languages, and research continues into the replicability of these factors across cultures.
The hope for a model like the 5-factor model is going to apply widely. You know, the perfect payoff would be that you could go anywhere in the world and find that there were these 5 and no other important individual differences in the local language.
But where do these traits come from? More modern research has added the elements of genetic inheritance and neuroscience to the mix.
So for 21st century neuroscience and genetics, if you then turn to a model like the 5-factor model, in some sense you get pluses and minuses. You get some things that support the model, but some things that at a theoretical level don't look much like it at all. So what supports the model is the core presumption that there's something biological behind these traits. The simplest support for that is that if you get some identical twins, including the special case of ones that are separated at birth, and you measure them on these traits, they are similar to each other far more than random people, far more than fraternal twins. There's something biological there.